Okay, cool. So, right, where are we on the day?
So you've had your starters. You're into
I've
your
had my
mains
starters.
now?
I'm into mains. Yeah, I'm in full turkey mode. Right, I'm gonna go a big red, a big hearty red. Okay, and a lot of people would be like, "No, what are you doing? Turkey, white meat, all this sort of thing." But I'm going, screw it. It's Christmas Day. The Bordeaux's coming out. I don't care. Like the big Côte de Rhône or the big Bordeaux or something like that. Like it's just frivolous, isn't it? Like we started on the champers at 9:30. Like, you know, the gravy's big and strong. I've got mustard, I've got cranberry, I've got the works on there. My dad's got all of them, as you remember from us. He's got the mint sauce, he's got the everything, bread sauce.
Somehow he's found slices of beef and ham from somewhere. We don't understand where, but he's got them on there.
He's got the turducken, the turkey duck.
Bird within a bird within a bird, yeah.
He's got the works. He's got a cow right in the middle. So he's got everything. So I'm thinking, listen, screw it. This, you know, Christmas isn't a very classy day anyway, isn't it? It's just a day where you just throw caution to the wind and do what you want. So I'm going for a big, strong red, big, hearty red for Christmas Day. And this is about the time my cheeks are getting rosy as well, right? It's about 2:30. We're gearing up for the Queen's speech. 2:30 in the afternoon, and I'm getting really rosy. My little paper hat is like leaning back on my head. I'm leaning back on the chair. Like my grandfather's falling asleep. Like, you know, the works, all the Christmas classics. So yeah, I'm definitely going to decant a nice bottle of the oldest red that I can afford.
Okay, I love it. Yeah. So I think, to be honest, now in my head, I didn't think about the sort of the filler drinks. I'm sort of in my head, I'm thinking of, you know, classic, like very Christmassy drinks that I would go to.
The greatest
but there
hits.
are going to be the greatest hits, but there's workhorses, shall we say, between them. Just staples that you never have to worry about. They're always there for you.
Yeah.
And you've gone very wine heavy on your day, and I'm very aware of wine and wheat, the grape and wheat, mixing them up. I just try and avoid it. So what
Forget
I'm going
about
for,
that, mate.
No, I think about it. I think about it every night.
Is that to save
keeps
yourself?
me up at night.
Yeah.
It's to save myself, exactly. So, you know what I'm going for?
What are you doing?
I'm going for Hobgoblin.
Ooh.
Standard, not gold. I don't want anything weird. I just want their standard ale, their amber ale.
Nothing nasty, no swearing,
No.
just straight
exactly.
down the line.
And I want that with my turkey. That's what I want. I don't want wine. Don't want champagne. I don't want anything. I want a nice ale, and a couple of them probably.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And that's going to get me. That's going to tie me through to the evening drinks that, you know, can be a little bit heavier, a little bit stodgier, slow you down a little bit. You don't want to be slowed down during the meal because you know you're going to hit that sugar drop like
as soon as the celebrations come out. Yeah,
yeah. Those after eights are going to destroy you.
Yeah,
you're gonna. And once you pass out, you're done. So you got to keep yourself going, keep yourself light on the toes.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I love it. Well, especially for beers, you've gone the right end of the spectrum. You've gone heavy beer because you're already a few drinks in, right? So you've got to go for a Hobgoblin or something that's like, something that's got some guts, that's got some balls,
Definitely.
that can keep you going. So
absolutely,
okay, cool. So we've covered the beers, we've covered the wines. Let's see. I'm going to go for my first after dinner drink of the evening. Mm-hmm. For a moment, I want to talk about brandy.
Okay.
So, as a handful of listeners will know, like, we're whiskey dudes, right?
Yeah.
But I think it must have been up until maybe the 70s or the 80s. Like, brandy was the universal after-dinner drink, right? Whiskey's only sort of gained mass popularity from sort of the 90s onwards, right?
I think so. I mean,
from what I've read.
Yeah, because like if you read those like old books, like Sherlock Holmes books or sort of old school English books, they're all drinking brandy, sherry,
port,
and it's port exactly. There's these drinks that have sort of fallen from favour a little bit that were just so readily available, and so just everyone had a bottle of something, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, it has definitely fallen from favour, and you know it's the classic drink. You know, your gran in a pub would order, and it comes in this little I don't want to call it a shot glass, but like an ornate shot glass, but that she sips from.
Yeah,
and it's it's evocative of a bygone era, but it's great stuff.
Yeah, so I think Christmas Day is perhaps the only day where I will favour brandy over Scotch.
Oh, wow, okay.
Right, just because of the sort of frivolity of the day, and it's like, I'm drinking everything today, so I'm just going to throw caution to the wind, and I'm going to go brandy. And I just sort of thought, God, I don't know very much about brandy, so if you'll allow me, I'm going to just talk a little bit about brandy.
Do it, please.
Would you mind?
Yeah, of course.
So I'm sure, like, you've all been in the shop and you've seen like Courvoisier and like Hennessy and all this sort of thing, and basically there's this like designated these levels of brandy, right? Basically, they go up in quality, right? And obviously price as well. So the first one you've got is called VS, or 3-star, right? Which stands for very special. And it basically means that the brandy that's used within this, I'm guessing, blend, like the youngest it can possibly be is 2 years in the cask, right? So it's twice distilled.
And it's distilled from grapes, right?
Correct. Yeah. Sorry, like a wine, yeah. Mm-hmm. As opposed to barley.
Yeah, so it's distilled, isn't it, rather than fermented?
Correct. Yeah. So it's
a wine
like a
would
spirit that's strong. Yeah.
Cool.
Fantastic. So yeah, your base level is the VS, right? That's your cheapest stuff. Like you can get very cheap, basically, and then you've got VSOP, which stands for Very Superior Old Pale, which I quite like. Very superior. This can sometimes be referred to as reserve. Maybe you might see that on the bottle. And basically, as you'll quickly find out, these different levels go up in the amount of years that the brandy's kept in the cask. So the first one, VS, was 2 years minimum. The VSOP is 4 years minimum, right? Mm-hmm. The next level up the chain, Napoleon. You might have seen that as well. Minimum 6 years in the cask, right? That's apparently a recent denomination. They've only added that within the last 5-10 years.
Right.
Then you've got XO. We're getting expensive now, okay?
Oh, God. Yeah, here we go.
Right. This is XO, stands for extra old. Should be EO, really, shouldn't it? But we'll let the French go with that one. Extra old, minimum 10 years in cask. Right, this is expensive. Then you've got very expensive XXO, extra old. You can see how they've worked this out, right? Minimum 14 years, and then the absolute creme de la creme, the pinnacle of brandy or cognac you can possibly buy. Cognac being a type of brandy. You also have Armagnac and various other ones, but they're the famous ones you might have heard of. The top denomination is hors d'âge, which is spelt like hors d'oeuvres, HORS, D'', age, hors d'âge, right? And that basically means beyond age scale. So this is like the highest quality. They don't even tell you how old this is. It's like, trust me, this is the best. You won't feel aggrieved parting with hard-earned cash for this beauty. Right. So hors d'âge, that's the best. I've never had any. In fact, I've never had any above XO, really, extra old. That's sort of like the best you can get in most places. But they're the sort of denominations of brandy, and I just thought that might be something to bring up.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, no, very cool. I didn't know anything about brandy. I just in my head it's like whiskey but with grapes.
Yeah.
Rather than wheat, some sort of wheat. But yeah, very, very cool. Brandy is definitely a blind spot in terms of even me trying it. So not even Christmas Day, really. Like my family never really had it.
Yeah.
Apart from, like, say, my gran every now and again when we could convince her to have a drink at a pub. That's what she'd get, you know.
Yeah.
Which is the cutest thing on the planet, but...
Yeah.
Go
on, then. Why not? It's Christmas.
Oh, God.
I mean, I always find it a little bit sweeter than Scotch. I find it a little bit richer and fruitier. It's like the sort of Christmas cake alternative. So it's got that similar sort of very alcoholic, strong after-dinner taste to it, but it's got a little bit of fruitcake in there, a little bit of sweetness. And I think that just goes really well with Christmas. I mean, I've never had,
100%.
like I said, I've never had anything above XO. And the usual is a sort of VO, VSOP Courvoisier or something, the standard bottle that you see in the supermarket, which I usually have, and that's great. But yeah, I'm inclined to go out and get a bottle of something silly and just like give it a go and see what Churchill was,
talking about,
bragging about. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's my next drink.
Love it. Yeah, great choice. I'm going to go similarly traditional but different way. I'm going to break my rule of grape and wheat, mixing them up, and I'm going to go for port for my after dinner drink.
Fantastic.
So we always buy as a family someone will buy it. No, normally it's my job to buy it nowadays, but one member of the family will bring a bottle of port, and it's a drink that, similar to your Brandon, never gets drunk any other time of year, but when it's there, they're like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'll have a port. Yeah, I'll have a port then. He's like, oh, will you now? Yeah, okay, cool. And I'm like, pouring it out left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
And everyone loves it because it is so good. It's almost, even people that don't like red wine love port, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
It's this like sweet, almost thick, red wine,
viscous
flavoured. Oh man, it's so nice. It's dangerously nice, considering it is, still got a hefty amount of alcohol in it.
Yeah, for sure.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
I also love the sort of aging factor of it. Like, you can buy old ports and you can enjoy old ports, and it's like that's a vibe. Like, for Christmas or an anniversary or something, you can put some coin into some old port. I've actually got a mildly amusing tale about an old port that my dad bought for my birth, right? Or somebody. Yeah, I think it was him. He bought it. He bought it for my birth. So I was born. I'm the first child, and he bought this port, which wasn't old at the time. It was a very good quality one, but it was from the year of my birth, right? Which is many moons ago now. And he kept it. And the plan was to open it on my 18th birthday, right?
Right.
So he put money into like the best that year had available, and then he was going to age it. So many years down the line, our house gets renovated, and he thinks, "Oh God, like I've got to shift all this stuff out of the house while the builders are coming in and that." And one of these things is this bottle of old port. So he gives it to my granddad. Right, this granddad's still alive, and he doesn't live this down. So he gives it to my granddad and says, "Listen, look after this. It's very important. Spent a lot of money on it. We're going to open this on Adam's 18th birthday. All right, just obviously don't drink it." Grandad says, "Yep, fine, understood completely," right? So he stores it or whatever. The house gets finished, everything's back to normal, and then my 18th birthday rolls around a few years later, and my dad brings up my granddad and says, "Can I get that port back? Just because we're going to open it on Adam's birthday." And he goes, "What port?" My dad's like, the expensive port that we were going to open on Adam's birthday.
Oh, give over. I know what you're doing.
Like,
it's classic.
Don't muck
all
about.
Right,
Yeah. My granddad's like, "No, I've got no idea what you're talking about. I don't remember this at all." Right. And so my dad's like, "Okay, he's fucked it. He's basically like left it by a radiator or something, and it's like he's screwed it or he's drunk it or something by accident or something." Mm-hmm. So my dad goes, "Oh, okay." Goes out and finds the exact same port, right? The one that he bought. However, the only problem is that now it's really expensive. It's really, really expensive. Because it was like the top that you could get that year or whatever. And he's just hands over his credit card, like grudgingly, like, "I've got to have this wine." So on the night of my 18th birthday, he's like, "Oh, I've got to be honest, this isn't the one that I saved for you," like scowling at my granddad. But we lost the first one, basically. This is the same one. But yeah, turns out that it was absolutely incredible. But with these old ports, you've got to you've got to drink them very quickly, like essentially in one sitting, almost a quick sitting, because they can go off quite quickly, right? If they're quite old.
Oh,
and you have to pour it very slowly, because the sediment in the bottom of the bottle, which is like the sort of build up of whatever it is, crap, after the aging process that sits in the bottom of the bottle. So you have to get a little amount of muslin and put it over your decanter. So when you pour the port very slowly out of the bottle, it goes through the muslin, and the muslin catches the sediment crap at the bottom. Right. And then you've got this beautiful port. But like the the bloke at the wine shop, the wine cellar or whatever, he's like, yeah, I'm not kidding, like drink it within an hour, basically, because the oxidization over the course of the hour will change it dramatically, basically.
Right.
So don't,
Wow.
make sure you've got enough people there to drink it all, basically.
Yeah.
So